All right, we are talking about everything you need to know about IT project management careers. It is probably the easiest way to make 150K plus without writing a line of code. So who am I? My name is Chris Schwenk, host of the Tech Jobber podcast. I have 18 plus years in the tech recruitment space. Recently, I interviewed a woman named Jessica Grimm. She's a director of project management at RVO Health. Talked about getting hired in the space and a lot of interview tips, mistakes, and good things she's seen in the field. So I thought I would kind of answer a lot of people's questions when it comes to jobs in this space and kind of give you all the information on money, different career paths, and the type of people that should be interested in getting into this. Okay, so let's talk about what IT project managers actually do. Now, the best analogy we have is basically a conductor of the technology team's orchestra, maybe an offensive coordinator for a sports analogy who's kind of running all the plays for the offense as far as tech projects. Now, basically your daily activities in this space would be kind of morning stand-ups with your dev teams, doing a lot of budget reviews with finance, maybe some risk assessment meetings, and you're gonna do some client check-ins to see where they are as far as the project, as far as progress, and maybe do a little resource planning at the end of the day. Now, one big potential misconception of these jobs are you don't really need to be a technical expert. But in reality, it does take a lot of emotional intelligence, a lot of preparation, and a ton of organization. So you're asking the right questions and spotting issues. Okay, now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, money. When it comes to salary ranges, these jobs basically start off at an entry level, maybe 65 to 85K. 65 is gonna be very low in this space, probably in the range of like a project coordinator-ish. But a lot of entry level jobs are at 85K in this space. From there, it obviously only goes up to, mid-level 85 to 120K. Then you're looking senior project managers, 120 to 180K plus. The higher you get, the more specialized you'll have to be. And obviously, the hourly rates and salaries go way up there. One other great thing about the pay on these is a lot of times these jobs are remote. You're not leaving your house, you're collecting those type of salaries, or maybe high hourly rates that correlate very well to those salaries. That's another factor to take into account when you're considering these types of careers. Okay, one other really great thing about these types of careers is the versatility. There are all sorts of types of project management careers you can go into. There's software development, where you're kind of doing like product releases, maybe coordinating with the dev teams. There's infrastructure project managers, kind of like server migrations, data center upgrades, maybe network upgrades as well. It's also digital transformation PMs. That's kind of like cloud migrations, maybe CRM implementations. And then you have cybersecurity PMs, which is obviously security projects and kind of like a GRC compliance type projects. Also have ERP and systems PMs. That's like the big boys. That's SAP, Salesforce, maybe ServiceNow implementations. Those guys probably make the most money of all of these. And then last but not least, you have client-facing PMs. That's kind of like project managers that are traveling and doing a lot of external client work as well. Okay, now when it comes to getting started in these careers, kind of a number of paths you can take. Some people just get kind of an entry-level project coordinator job and kind of scale up to the project management space and maybe level up within their own company or change companies and get a higher level job there. Maybe you start as a project coordinator, you switch over to a project manager at another company. Also a lot of certifications. There's the PMP, there's the Scrum Master. Those are also great ways to get your start in this space. I've also seen a lot of business analysts kind of transfer over. They start as a business analyst. They start kind of bleeding into that project management space and getting some of those skills. And then suddenly they change their title to business analyst / project manager. Their next job is a higher level PM. That's also a great way to kind of get a start and kind of scale up in this space. Okay, as far as key skills to develop in these careers, you got to look at communication. That's really 80% of the job. You have to communicate with all sorts of people, whether it's business people, security people, dev teams, QA, you name it. You have to be able to communicate with all those people to kind of move the project forward collectively. Also, you probably need some basic software development understanding. Also, if you're going to more of the infrastructure route, you're going to need some maybe server, data center knowledge as well. Also, risk management. You're going to have to know when the project is starting to kind of fall behind and where you have to kind of raise the alarm there. And like I said, stakeholder management is a major key because when they're unhappy, you're getting fired. So always keep in mind on that. Okay, now when it comes to who should consider these careers, obviously a people person, someone who's a natural communicator, a translator, someone who can talk to the business, talk to the tech teams, and kind of know where to push each side without pushing too much. That's a lot of The problems I see project managers get into is they're pushing too hard on the wrong people and not hard enough on the other people. So that's something you have to kind of just constantly be emotionally intelligent and know who you're dealing with at all times. You have to be super organized, detail oriented, and a problem solver too. Also have to be a relationship builder. People have to trust you. You have to know how not to piss them off. That's really one of the biggest keys. Now, when it comes to who shouldn't consider these type of roles, well, if you hate dealing with people, this is not the career for you. You should become a developer. If you like to work alone, also not for you. If you hate meetings, this job is basically 80% meetings. Okay, now when it comes to career growth, these jobs are probably some of the best you're gonna find in tech. You can pretty much choose your own way. You can start as a senior PM, eventually go to program manager where you're managing multiple projects, kind of become more of a director of the PMO, and then eventually VP of the PMO. Obviously very high paying at that level. You could also maybe go the product route, become a product manager, become a high-level business analyst, become a consultant in any of these spaces. But then really, once again, the big money comes in specialists. You want to niche down and then become an expert in that field, especially as an implementation person when it comes to one of those technologies, whether it's a cybersecurity technology, maybe cloud technology, anything digital transformation, things like ServiceNow, SAP, Salesforce. Those people make a ton of money. Again, they're only working 40 hours a week too. So you're making $6,000 a week, maybe up to $8,000 a week to work 40 hours. Not bad. Also, like I said before, remote work is plentiful and a lot of high-level consulting opportunities as well. Some people take on multiple consulting roles, maybe some part-time, maybe a couple part-time, maybe 2 full-times. Some people I've seen do that as well. So really when it comes to versatility, these careers are pretty much unmatched. And then when you add in the factor where you can kind of niche down and become a specialist, that's where people pay really the highest money in tech when it comes to consultants. In fact, one guy I just interviewed, he's looking for a ServiceNow project management implementation guy. He hasn't filled it for 9 months. The good thing is you can become a specialist, but if that dries up, you could just drop down to a normal project manager. So you can go either way, make really high paying consulting money, or you can just you still have those project management skills that you can take a job like that at any time. Okay, so in closing, when it comes to quantity of jobs and quality of pay at the high levels, really there's nothing that beats project management. I think that's really what I've filled more in my recruitment business of any job in my career. And I've seen people make a ton of money, but I will say, make sure you become a specialist, because 10 years ago, mid-level guys were making about 65 an hour, which is about 130K. Right now, mid-level people are still making, sure enough, 65 an hour. Those jobs have not increased with inflation. There are a lot of them, but there also are a lot of project managers. So it can be a field that you can get lost in the shuffle if you're not careful. So make sure you're specializing in an industry or a skill set. Also, check out my interview with Jessica Grimm. She's a director in this space. She gave a ton of interview tips that you should definitely check out. I will also have Veronica White. She was another guest. She has a PMP mentorship. She will help you pass the PMP, and then she will help you get a job in the project management space. We'll have a link to her school community down here as well. Also, make sure you subscribe. We're going to have a lot more content like this to go along with the interviews. If you're looking for a job in the space, I also have a career coaching business. So definitely check it out. I work with you till you get a job. Basically, it's a done-for-you service when it comes to the outreach. We're going to reach out to every HR and hiring manager in your space, whatever that is, for active open jobs. Make sure you are on top of the pile when it comes to hiring, because we've all been lost in that shuffle of you apply to a LinkedIn job and you see 1,000 other applications. This method kind of makes sure you are at the top of the pile and you're getting interviews. And we have a bunch of people in that program right now that are getting weekly interviews. If you're interested in that, I'll have a link down there below. You can check it out as well. All right, catch you guys next time.